Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to some more Overwatch. In this video, I want to be talking about the console version, the PlayStation 4 version in this particular case, of Overwatch. Yesterday I had the chance to try out the PlayStation version of the game over at an event that Blizzard put out in Amsterdam. Now, the recording of the event was actually handled by the guys there themselves, and sadly it seems like no audio was captured. Nevertheless, I'm gonna try and explain the experiences that I've had playing the game for about 2 or so hours on the console, after playing, well, for several hundreds of hours on the computer version. So first and foremost, and this is one of the things that I was a little bit worried for, the performance is really good. The game is running at 60 frames per second, and even though obviously Overwatch is not the fastest paced game in the world, you still do really badly need those 60 FPS at the very least. And I'm very glad that they decided to basically lower the resolution whenever the game actually has a lot of action on the screen, but always try to maintain the 60 FPS. Jeff Kaplan, the game director of Overwatch, mentioned that the default resolution is always going to be 1080p whenever possible, but it scales back depending on the action on the screen. So top priority, and what you're seeing on the screen right now, is always to have 60 frames per second. Graphics wise, obviously the hardware of the PlayStation will not be able to quite keep up with the PC version, at the very least if you max it out, but it actually was very nice. I mean, generally speaking, if you're playing on a PlayStation, you're gonna be sitting a little bit further away from the screen anyway, and things look really solid. On some maps, you will notice that there is a bit of a lack of detail on some certain areas, but you know, if you're only playing the console version, this really isn't going to bother you, and the only reason why I really noticed it is because I'm used to the PC version in the first place. So graphics wise and performance wise, things worked really well. Also, loading up the games and then also going between games worked really smoothly. There were no lag spikes and no longer waiting times that I'm used to, and the gameplay in general was really smooth, and that's honestly the most important thing. Now, since obviously this was played on a console, I had to go ahead and use a controller. Now, I'm definitely more of a mouse and keyboard type of guy, and it is definitely playable, but it is noticeable that there are some, pretty big issues when it comes to playing certain characters. For example, I really enjoy playing Tracer on the PC version, and Tracer has the ability to very quickly blink past certain heroes. Now, on the PC version, while you're blinking through someone, you can very quickly do a 180 turn and basically shoot while walking backwards. Now, because obviously you're using the pads on the controller, it is very difficult to try and pull that off. And even after upping the sensitivity of the console version to 100% on the controller, it still is not nearly as responsive as just a good old mouse. That doesn't necessarily mean that that is a bad thing though. It just means that the meta on the console version is gonna be a little bit different. Certain heroes might need to get buffed up slightly, and other heroes will need to get nerfed. Blizzard actually did mention, for example, that they nerfed the Torbjorn turret slightly, just because obviously Torbjorn could otherwise just be murdering the entire enemy team. You need a little bit more response time on the console, just because you're not able to turn around and twitch around as fast as you can with a mouse and keyboard. With that said, it's really important to keep in mind that there is no cross-platform right now, and that's actually really good. That means that if you're playing the console version, you're not gonna go up against other people that are using another console or people that are using the PC version of the game. The thing is that obviously if you would go up against people that are playing on the PC, you would just get massacred, and it wouldn't really be fair just because they can move around much faster. Now, maybe with practice it gets a little bit easier, but later on into the event, I really noticed that sniping in particular with Widowmaker was really difficult. Since you've got to be very accurate with your crosshair on both heroes like Widowmaker as well as Zarya and whatnot, it is pretty difficult to hover it over a target. That said, there is a little bit of aim assist that is pretty noticeable. You will notice that the crosshair is going to be following the targeted hero. However, this is obviously very standard. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if in the end the games are gonna be running slightly differently compared to the PC version. And I wouldn't be surprised either if any kind of professional scene would be based around the PC version, because the skill level can just be slightly higher. That said, it plays and runs very well. The meta is just gonna be slightly different compared to what heroes are powerful on the PC, but that's definitely not a bad thing. Now, one nice thing is that the controller is completely customizable, and that's pretty important. One thing that I noticed in particular on, for example, Vara, is that if you're floating around, you actually have to keep on pressing the X button to use the actual jetpack on your back to keep on floating about. Now the problem is that you only got 2 thumbs, right? So it's really hard to move around and then also actually keep your, character up in the sky and then also aim with your rocket launcher. So controls definitely can be customized, which is an awesome thing. Now obviously Blizzard isn't known for their console games. They've got Diablo 3 ported over to the console, but it's missing a lot of the features. Now Jeff Kaplan, the game director, once again did come out and say that they are gonna try and sync up the PC version as well as the console versions as close together as possible with new content. Whereas for example the console version of Diablo is missing things such as seasons, which are huge aspects of the game. All the new content will be roughly available in Overwatch on all consoles at the same time. All in all, a very good game, a very smooth experience. I personally am gonna stick to the PC version of the game just because that is my thing, but you definitely shouldn't feel bad for owning the console version because it's an awesome experience nonetheless. So I hope this answered any questions that you may have had about the console version of Overwatch. If I've missed anything important that you would like to ask me about, let me know down below the like button in the comment section of the video. And other than that, I want to thank you all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, and I'll see you in the next one.